are to become a republic, then the people themselves should directly choose the president.
We are all Australians. We share a continent. We share a past, a present and a future. And our head of state should be one of us.
Poor old Costello, he's all tip and no iceberg. It's just Howard being Howard, isn't it, you know? The little desiccated coconut's under pressure and he's attacking anything he can get his hands on.
Then you want a House of Representatives minister from the representative chamber to wander over to the unrepresentative chamber and account for himself. You've got to be joking. You've got to be joking. Now, whether the Treasurer wished to go there or not, I would forbid him going. Forbid him going to the Senate to account for this unrepresentative swill over there.
Malcom Turnbull, welcome to Hard Talk. Good to be with you. I want to begin with a very well-known quote from a guy called Donald Horne, who in the 60s was a well-known social critic in this country. He wrote, "Australia is a lucky country run by second-rate people who share its luck." His point is an interesting one. He says that consistently this country hasn't really had the political leadership it deserves. But let me tell you something else I heard recently from a very senior businessman, successful businessman in this country. He said, you know what, if you look at the most impressive people in this country, they are running big businesses. Also, they're running the Treasury and the civil service. In fact, he said one of the most impressive people runs the Reserve Bank of Australia. Well, he said, you won't find the most impressive people going into politics.
What makes our constitution work forever? What makes stuck with the British monarchy forever? Is that right?
Let's make this personal then. You already referred to the fact you had a very successful career in the law, then in business. You made a lot of money. Then you had a meteoric rise through the ranks of your own Liberal Party. And you appeared to many to be Australia's Prime Minister in waiting. And then, all of a sudden, it went horribly wrong.
Because the last thing I want to do is to make any Australian feel threatened or vulnerable or unappreciated.
Australians know that changing the leader of the Liberal Party changes nothing. Australia has been going nowhere for the last 2 years with this chaotic, dysfunctional, divided Liberal government. Australians know that Malcom Turnbull is ambitious, but he's ambitious for himself.
This is about the future of our planet and the future of our children and their children.
With Malcom, it will always be about Malcom. The cuts to pensions, the cuts to schools. Australia does not need another out-of-touch, arrogant Liberal leader.
Whether it's same-sex marriage or climate change, my position has remained utterly consistent.
Our party, the Liberal Party, has the right values.
We have stopped the votes.
On the 60 Minutes programme last night, Leigh Sales asked how you felt about homosexuality. You said that you probably feel a bit threatened, as so many people do. What did you mean?
Well, it was a spontaneous answer, but the truth is that I try to take people as I find them. Just because a person is sick doesn't mean that he is necessarily pure of heart or thing. The statements that need to be taken absolutely as gospel truth is those carefully prepared scripted remarks. There's too much sprinkling, there's too much manipulation. Lots of terrific gay relationships, lots of terrific commitments between gay partners, but I just don't think marriage is the right term for it, just because that's what a marriage is. If you want to put a price on carbon, why not just do it with a single tax? And I don't claim to be any kind of a technical. Again, if you're going to get me into a technical argument, I'm going to lose the carry because I'm not a technical. I've given you the responsibility.
Mate, because I want to do you slowly.
I was not elected by the factional leaders of Australia, of the Australian Labor Party, to do a job, though they may be seeking to do a job on me.
The vile, anatomically specific language to which this speaker appears to be addicted.
I will not be lectured about sexism and misogyny by this man.
Very, very deceitful campaign from the other side.
A credit to the healthy scepticism of the Australian people when faced with change for change's sake and a dud model republic.
No campaign has said if you want a different kind of republic, if you want to elect the president, no. It's become very clear. You've only got to read the papers this morning to see what John Howard has in mind. If Australia votes no, that's it.
Humans care. Our future civilization depends on protecting the natural environment. And the future of our natural environment depends on protecting civilization. When we reduce the cost of energy, though, we increase productivity, which increases our prosperity. We do not and cannot affect the level of carbon dioxide in air, and that means we cannot and do not affect global climate. The UN's claim is absurd. One of the greatest threats to our liberty and life as we know it is the international banking sector. Worldwide, privately owned central banks have greed as their creed and cannot be trusted to work in a country's best interests. A royal commission into the banking sector and currency needed to national banks.
A government of rising unemployment, of cuts to essential services, and a collapse in our growth.
Will you visit this concentration camp and see it for yourself?
So it's a tough choice, but that's my job, to make tough choices, to defend Australia, to defend the integrity of our borders.
The same unfairness,
Now, we are committed passionately to addressing this challenge of mental illness. I think every Australian knows who I am and knows what I stand for.